Sustainable transport system to boost nation's growth. Double the speed, half the price leads to 10 times faster internet connections. Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to News on 2, and I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Well, the government would make efforts to increase public transportation services, including through rail projects in cities, to meet the needs of urban residents. Now, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad says Malaysia chose not to limit the number of private vehicles, and this resulted in urban and rural roads having to be built all the time.
Untuk mengurangkan kesesakan akibat pertambahan ini, kerajaan akan menggalakkan penggunaan pengangkutan awam. Ini termasuk membekalkan rel elektrik berkembar. Penggunaan rel masih di tahap yang rendah. Kenderaan berat masih banyak mengguna jalan-jalan raya. Adanya kenderaan berat dan besar di jalan raya mengundang kemalangan. Adalah lebih baik jika barangan berat dan besar mengguna sistem rel yang sedia ada.
Launching the 2019-2030 National Transport Policy in Kuala Lumpur yesterday, the Premier said Malaysians can count on the government to provide a sustainable transport system that will contribute to the country's economic growth and ensure the people's well-being. He said the government is in the position to do so with strategic planning as well as cooperation and commitment from industry players, the people and others. At a press conference later, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the government would also seek advice from specialists in Japan to emulate Tokyo Station's efficiency and high usage.
Apa yang saya lihat semasa berada di Jepun ialah railway station. Kalau kita berdiri outside Tokyo Station, kita nampak kereta api datang, masuk station, keluar station, masuk station, keluar station, tak berhenti. Bermakna bahawa the railway line is fully utilized. Tetapi di Malaysia ini kita perlu tunggu kadang-kadang sejam sebelum the next train comes.
Well, on another note, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the government will proceed with the 4-kilometer Johor Bahru to Singapore rail line. His comments about the Rapid Transit System, or RTS, rail link followed that of Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siew Fook on Tuesday that details of the project will be decided by the Cabinet within 2 weeks.
RTS akan kita teruskan, tapi kita akan mengambil masa sedikit, dan untuk high speed train ini kita tangguh selama 2 tahun. Sebabnya ialah kerana kosnya terlalu tinggi dan kita tidak mampu sekarang ini kerana hutang yang diambil oleh kerajaan yang lepas, hutang berbilion-bilion, dan kita guna wang kita sekarang ini daripada hasil kita guna untuk bayar hutang. Kalau tak ada hutang yang macam tu, hari ini dah jalan dah rel.
Asked if this meant the government had resolved a land dispute involving a plot in Bukit Chagar, Johor, owned by Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar, Tun Dr. Mahathir said that is something which will be announced later. The RTS line would link Johor Bahru's Bukit Chagar station to the upcoming Woodlands North station in Singapore. Well, more and more patients with life-threatening illnesses are not given the needed attention due to common belief that there is no hope to recover or any curative treatment for them. However, the practice of palliative or end-of-life care for those with life-threatening illnesses are utmost important to provide a holistic approach that includes taking care of the patients psychosocial and spiritual needs. Well, this in return could actually increase the patient's lifespan. Palliative care in Malaysia is still at its infancy stage, which is about 10%. And according to Health Minister Dato Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, palliative care should be included as a main component in treating patients with chronic diseases such as cancer. Well, realizing this fact, the Health Ministry is in the midst of establishing National Palliative Care Policy and Strategy 2019-2030, which will be launched on 6 November. Now, with the aim to offer a comprehensive healthcare treatment, it is expected to play an important support system until the end of the patient's life. Well, I said this in Kuala Lumpur. And as of now, Malaysia is at the 38th out of the 80 countries in the palliative care. The government will definitely take action in the event of discriminations by employers against job applicants, even though there is no specific law that protects job seekers. Now, Human Resources Deputy Minister Dato Mahfuz Omar said this is because the Employment Act 1955 was more focused direct on safeguarding the interests of those who are working compared to job seekers. As such, job seekers who were discriminated could make a complaint to the Labour Department for investigation. As of now, although there were parties who expressed fears about discrimination against job seekers, the ministry had not received any official complaints regarding the matter.
Tidak ada peruntukan undang-undang seperti yang saya sebutkan semalam. Jika terdapat pembuktian yang menunjukkan bahawa pemohon pekerja ini, pencari kerja ini, sewaktu mereka memohon dan waktu mereka temuduga itu ada unsur-unsur diskriminasi terhadap mereka, mereka boleh buat laporan kepada JTK dan JTK akan mengambil siasatan dan akan membuat nasihat kepada majikan untuk mengelak daripada perkara-perkara tersebut. Itu sahaja yang boleh.
He said this after attending the Ministerial Level Language Week in Putrajaya yesterday. Well, a total of 6.6 million trees have been planted along the country's coastal, covering 2,887.63 hectares until last July through the Mangrove and Suitable Tree Species Planting Program. Now, Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. Xavier Jayakumar said the program involved collaboration with various parties, including the Forestry Department of Peninsular Malaysia and Forest Research Institute Malaysia, with an allocation of 54.9 million ringgit. Well, according to him, the allocation has been used for planting and maintenance of mangroves and trees of suitable species on research and development, monitoring, expansion and creating public awareness programs. Dr. Xavier said the program was implemented after the tsunami incident 15 years ago as a government effort to protect and conserve mangrove areas. The minister noted that mangrove forests play a very important role in providing ecosystem services, including as a natural buffer against strong winds and waves. They also contribute to, among others, climate stability and creation of recreational and ecotourism areas, which could spur socio-economic development for the local communities if managed to the optimum. Well, it said this at the national level commemoration of the International Day for the Conservation of the Mangrove Ecosystem at the Sungai Merbok Tourism Complex near Sungai Petani. The event was officiated by Kedah Menteri Besar Dato Sri Mukhriz Tun Dr. Mahathir. The Orang Asli will be appointed to the 2020-2021 session of the Committee for the Promotion of Inter-Religious Understanding and Harmony Among Adherents, or JKMPKA. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, P. Wethamurthy, said the government will allocate 1 to 2 places for the community next year. Now, the committee's 2018-2019 session comprises 32 members representing the Islamic, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Taoist, Sikh and Baha'i religions, along with academics, youth and representatives from Sabah and Sarawak. Now, speaking during a JKMPKA appreciation ceremony held in Putrajaya, he said it is obligatory for the Malaysian government to recognize believers of animism. The minister added that his team would make a special request to the Finance Ministry for a budget to be allocated to the committee to enable it to play a more active role in addressing various issues. On the proposed National Harmony and Reconciliation Commission, Wedamurthy said he expects the legislation providing for its establishment to be ready early next year. Well, 7 primary school children from Sekolah Rendah Kebangsaan Dataran Muda, Bukit Selambau near Sungai Petani, Kedah, had an experience of a lifetime when the van they were in was rammed by a car. The incident occurred at 13.8 kilometer Jalan Sungai Petani, Kuala Katil at 2 p.m. yesterday. Well, according to Kuala Muda Chief of Police ACP Adli Abu Shah, a 12-year-old female student was seriously injured while 3 others sustained minor injuries and were sent to the Sultan Abdul Halim Hospital in Sungai Petani for treatment. It was reported that the van was on its way to send the children home from Kuala Katil to Sungai Petani. However, when they reached the scene, a speeding car coming from the opposite direction suddenly swerved into their lane before hitting the side of the van. Well, due to the heavy impact, both vehicles turned turtle. Well, the case is being investigated under Section 43, subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987. Well, coming up next, Malaysia Airports Holdings were urged to address worsening congestion at KLIA2 immigration counters. Well, the government's double the speed and half the price campaign has led to 10 times faster internet speeds while reducing prices by as much as 49%. Elaborating further, Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobin said a World Bank report found that Malaysia reduced the average broadband speed gap with more developed countries from 6 times faster in 2017 to just 2 times faster in March this year.
Ini adalah satu perkara yang kita lihat sudah berlaku dan saya rasa apabila kita lihat cabaran-cabaran dunia digital yang akan datang, sekiranya kita tidak melaksanakan usaha ini, sekiranya kita tidak bertindak tegas dan kita ini tidak ada target-target yang ditentukan dalam 18 bulan ini, saya rasa kita tidak boleh bergerak dengan kelajuan yang kita sedia ada sekarang.
He said this to reporters at a Deepavali event in his parliamentary constituency of Puchong, Selangor. On another note, Gobin said his ministry is working to ensure more B40 low-income households receive free digital television decoder sets. Well, he also said the ministry is still in discussion with the decoder distributing company as well as gathering information to determine eligible individuals.
Sebenarnya kita ada syarikat yang bertanggungjawab untuk keluarkan, ini berkenaan dengan soalan kedua. Ini adalah tanggungjawab berkenaan pengeluaran dekoder oleh syarikat tersebut iaitu MyFreeView. Mereka telah pun mengadakan perbincangan dan kebanyakan daripada dekoder ini dikeluarkan secara percuma. Mereka ini memberikan ada senarai nama dan sebagainya dan kita ikut siapa yang sebenarnya penerima dan sebagainya dan ini adalah satu proses yang mengambil masa.
He was responding to a query from Paya Besar MP who alleged that some of those who falls under the B40 group have to pay 180 ringgit to receive the MyTV decoder following the transition from analog to the digital system. Gobin added that the ministry is committed to ensure that the MyFreeView digital TV broadcast will be enjoyed throughout the nation. The final cessation of the analog TV transmission will take place in Sabah and Sarawak on 31st October 2019. The uncertain weather is not expected to affect the target of 2 million visitors to the 2019 Rural Entrepreneurs Carnival, or KUD19, which started in Putrajaya yesterday until 21st October, following the measures taken to facilitate the movements of the visitors. While Rural Development Minister Dato Sri Rina Muhammad Harun said among the measures taken were putting up covered paths, connecting the tents, housing, the stalls and exhibitions. And speaking to reporters after launching the Entrepreneurs Capsule at KPLB yesterday, she said the strength of the KUD brand itself was capable of luring the presence of visitors, especially from the Klang Valley and also nearby states like Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. Dato Sri Rina said the participations of 1,000 exhibitors from various spectrum of commerce and rural entrepreneurs are much awaited by the visitors, especially those who were familiar with the biennial carnival. Now, low-cost carrier Air Asia has urged Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad, MAHB, to immediately make adjustments at KLIA2 to address congestion at immigration counters or risk painting a bad image of Malaysia. Well, it said the issue showcases inefficiency and poor customer service, particularly with Visit Malaysia Year 2020 just around the corner. Now, Air Asia Malaysia CEO Riyad Asmat and Air Asia Acts Malaysia CEO Benjamin Ismail said the long queues at immigration counters for foreign passports were a daily occurrence. They said it has gotten so bad that countless guests have complained to them about missing their connecting flights, as well as important meetings and appointments. The CEOs claim that visitors had to queue for over an hour at immigration gates, especially during peak hours. They said the problem was caused by the poor design and flawed configuration at KLIA2. They added that they had raised the issue with MAHB before. And according to the CEO's assurance was given that adjustments would be made, but to date nothing had been done. Johor State Government is satisfied that several development projects aimed at benefiting residents in Segamat District are going well and on schedule. Johor Menteri Besar Dato Dr. Shahruddin Jamal said the initiatives includes the construction of 2 crematoriums with a total cost of 2.2 million ringgit along the Segamat Kuantan Road and Kampung Sungai Keras in Libis. Besides that, the development projects also focus on the Agro-Mix Farm project, or mixed farming in Sermin, spanning 50 acres involving 1.8 million ringgit in the first phase, and on completion of the construction of Masjid Baru Kampung Sepinang, as well as the construction of new buildings and upgrading work for Hospital Segamat. Also on track is the construction of the dual-track electric train service from Gemas to Johor Bahru, which will pass through Segamat.
Alhamdulillah, banyak projek-projek yang telah kami pantau, kami lihat tadi, dan kebanyakan projek-projek di daerah Segamat kebanyakannya berjalan mengikut jadual. Alhamdulillah, saya ingin berterima kasih kepada semua agensi yang sentiasa memantau projek-projek untuk di daerah Segamat.
He was asked on the status of the projects after a one-day working visit to the areas in Segamat. Also during the visit, Dato Dr. Shahruddin also announced an allocation of 250,000 ringgit to the Segamat District Office for 5 other development projects benefiting residents. We begin with hockey. Now, national hockey coach Roland Altmans says there is no need to send anyone to watch the Britain's team training sessions. Now, as they gear up for the final Olympic qualifier against Britain at the Lee Valley Stadium on the 2nd and 3rd November, Altmans said what was important is the state of readiness of his players. Altman said his charges have shown vast improvements in almost every aspect of their play, especially after undergoing special training sessions with 3 specialists, namely penalty corner expert Taike Taikema, goalkeeping specialist Martin Driver, and defensive coach David Bell.
Of course, we think that we know what we can expect from Great Britain. But always, like they think they know exactly what we're doing, we try to surprise them, and they for sure will try to surprise us as well. That is part of the game.
Altmans wants his players to be fully on their toes for both legs of the qualifier, adding that the most critical component right now is consistency. The Malaysian Hockey Confederation, MHC, recently announced a 20-man squad to Netherlands on 20th October for some practice matches as part of their preparations to overcome Britain in the two-legged qualifier and seal their 10th Olympic appearance. As time is not on our side, that item concludes this afternoon's edition of News on 2. In our top story, sustainable transport system to boost nation's growth. We'll be back at 7 this evening with more updates. Till then, I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for watching.